Let's go now to our next guest here on the program. He comes by way of sportsnetwork.com. He's the NFL editor over there. You can follow him on twitter.com/JFMcMullen. It is live from the office, John McMullen. Hey, John, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Matt.
Thanks for coming on the show as usual. How about that great matchup we had in London today? 0-3 versus 0-3, and it showed.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're trying to sell American football over the pond. You probably don't want to bring 2-0-3 teams over there, but that's what the NFL was stuck with. People thought before the season that Pittsburgh would certainly be a contender, and most thought Minnesota would. So both teams have performed pretty poorly. I think it showed up today, and the Steelers had a chance to tie it late, but they're 0-4 for the first time since Chuck Noll
Wow.
arrived in Pittsburgh, so way back in '68. So,
Yeah.
it's tough going in Pittsburgh these days. The offensive line obviously is shaky without Marquise Pouncey, and the running game's not there, and that's almost sacrilegious to say when you're talking about the Steelers. They simply can't run the football.
It is Game Points here on TSN 690. Update in Denver, John. As you were talking, Trindon Holiday just ran back the kickoff return for a touchdown. Amazing, this guy. Now 14-3 with the extra point. It'll be over the Philadelphia Eagles. John, how in the heck did Houston let this guy go?
Yeah, he's obviously it's a size-related thing, and there's some limitations with him as a player. But as a kick returner, he's just so explosive and so quick. We saw that in the playoffs last year, and he keeps doing it. I think that's his sixth return for a touchdown. So,
I mean, he's up there
amazing
with Devin Hester right now, if not even on pace to be as good, if not better.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can keep it up. One of the underrated things when the NFL moved up the kickoffs and all those touchbacks started to show up, I think it gave the kicking, the coverage units, it lulls them into a false sense of security. When a kicker kicks it 9 yards deep, you almost expect, well, he's not coming out. But Holiday, explodes out of the end zone, and if you're not going there, if you're not keeping your lanes, he's gonna take it to the house, as he just did again.
John, has there ever been a team with less of a killer instinct than the Cincinnati Bengals? I mean, you have a team that it looks like everything's ripe for the picking. Baltimore's roster is, not what it was last year. Pittsburgh's off to an awful start with all the injuries, and obviously Cleveland plays in your division. And yet, here you are on the other side of a 17-6 victory by the Browns today, sitting now at 2-2, tied with the Ravens and the Browns in that division. And then conversely, how about the Browns? They get rid of their top running back. They have a backup quarterback starting, and they go 2-0 in the process. I mean, what is the story with these two teams?
Yeah, I think it's a disastrous loss for Cincinnati. I think you're right. This is a team that wants you to believe they're a legitimate contender, and they got kind of a signature win beating Aaron Rodgers last week at home. And even though they're on the road, you're right. This is a Cleveland team that was trying to tank for Teddy, so to speak, Teddy Bridgewater. And they once Brandon Weeden goes out with the thumb, they start Brian Hoyer. They say, all right, let's tear this thing down and build it up by trading Trent Richardson. And obviously that was the thought process of the front office. But, a rookie head coach didn't get the memo. Brian Hoyer didn't get the memo. And now they've won 2 straight weeks, just, taking care of the ball, not doing, those colossal mistakes that were, just an every week occurrence when, Heckert was there as the general manager and Pat Shurmur the head coach. So, Brian Hoyer, you called him a backup quarterback. He's no longer a backup quarterback. He's going to be the starter there moving forward, and he wants to prove he's an NFL quarterback. Obviously, Cleveland thinks they need to get a franchise guy, but here's a guy who's never really had a chance, and he learned some under Tom Brady, and who knows, back when Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick of out of Michigan, nobody thought much of him. So you never know what's going to happen in this league. It's crazy, but this was a bad loss for a Cincinnati team that wants us all to believe they're a legitimate contender.
Bizarre, very bizarre. Kind of reminds me of when the Browns went to Kelly Holcomb a few years ago, an unheralded quarterback, and you didn't really expect much, and he took them to a 10-6 record, and albeit not making the playoffs, but still people had some high expectations, and then he just kind of faded. But we'll see what happens there. Elsewhere in Detroit today, the Lions getting a 40-32 victory over the Chicago Bears. Jay Cutler throwing for over 300 yards, but he did have a whole bunch of interceptions as well. What did you make of this result for both teams here, John?
Well, this was the opposite of Cincinnati. This was a big game for Detroit at home. If they wanted to prove that they were going to be a contender in the NFC North, this is a game they had to win. And although it was a one-possession game, you see at the end, they really dominated. They were up 24 with 5 minutes left, and Jay Cutler got a lot of that down, got a lot of that yardage in garbage time. And, every once in a while, Reggie Bush shows you the Reggie Bush he was at USC, and that was one of those games today. He was just phenomenal, both running and catching the football, and this was a big win for the Lions because if you think about the Packers, they're on a bye week this week, but they've started off 1-2, and I think Chicago had been living on the edge. They had that last-second win over Minnesota, they had a comeback win over Cincinnati, and they really need a bunch of defensive touchdowns to beat Pittsburgh. So those defensive touchdowns, Matt, if you remember last year, Chicago started out 7-1 when they got all those touchdowns on the defensive side of the ball. And you can't count on those week after week. No matter how good you are at taking care of the ball, if your opposition decides, well, we're just not going to take chances, you're not going to get those defensive touchdowns. And that's kind of what happened to Chicago last year. It's going to happen to them at some point this year, so they're going to have to play much better offensively if they're going to get things done, moving forward.
And finally, John, in Houston today, the Texans were up 20-3 in this game over Seattle. Looked like everything was going their way, and somehow, some way, they just Houston Texaned it, right? I mean, this is the team that just never lives up to the hype, and it's maybe kind of similar to Cincinnati. I don't know, maybe lacking that killer instinct, but I'm not a believer anymore in these Houston Texans. I think they'll have a winning record, but other than that, I don't expect much out of them. Seattle wins in overtime.
Well, you're right. They're a very good team, and they're going to beat the teams they're supposed to beat. But here's a game at home against Seattle, who, has probably been, if not the best team in the NFL, certainly second best behind Denver in the first 3 weeks. So they're an explosive group defensively, and obviously Russell Wilson has played almost perfectly at home. He's 10-0 at home in Seattle, but when he gets on the road, sometimes he looks like a second-year quarterback. And Houston had every opportunity to win this game. They're up 23. So, Matt Schaub's going to get a lot of criticism in South Texas tomorrow, and rightfully so, because this is the kind of game you have to put away, and they weren't able to do it.
He is John McMullen. Catch him at sportsnetwork.com for all of the recap and analysis from today's games, as well as, of course, previews for tonight and tomorrow night. You can also follow John on twitter.com/JFMcMullen. John, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Hey, you too. It's always fun. Thanks for having me.